Evening, everyone. This is the report of Group 2. Our topic is all about the Filibusterismo context and content. Okay, so when we talk about context and content, sumo ni ang sud kibali sa Filibusterismo, ang iyang unod kibali sa Fili. So, Rizal's novel, El Filibusterismo is a story set in twilight years of the Spanish colonial government in the Philippines. It was first translated into English by Charles Derbyshire in 1912 under the title The Reign of Greed. So, the book represents Rizal's more mature judgment on political and social conditions in the island, and it's graver and less hopeful to reflect the disappointments and discouragement which he had encountered in his effort to lead way to reform. Okay, so before we tackle more about our topic, let's have the learning objectives. So at the end of the chapter, the students should be able to trace the meaning of the term filibustero across time, explain the historical context in which El Filibusterismo was written, examine the current events through the eyes of the characters, and evaluate Rizal as novelist. Okay? So, let's have some vocabulary para masabta nato as we tackle the lesson, naatay konting background about sa mga terms nga dili pa familiar nato. Okay, so filibustero. This is the 19th century context. It is translated as subversive, a patriot who was usually associated with revolutionary activities. Ang Guardia Civil, karon murag ang kining Guardia Civil, it's like a police na no? Police military force assigned by the colonial government to maintain peace and order. And the cabeza di barangay or the head of the barangay. So, ang kining cabeza di barangay, sumo ni siya ang matawag nato nga sa karon nga kuan is the kapitan sa barangay. So, let's have some summary or buod sa El Filibusterismo. Okay, so I will just read it. Okay. 13 years after the deaths of Sisa and Elias, the story began. So, mo ni ang katong sanolim bitang. A steamboat called Vapor Tabo traveled between Manila and Laguna. Among its passengers were the jeweler Simon, Basilio, and Isagani. Upon arriving in San Diego, Basilio visited his mother's grave in the Ibarra's family cemetery. There, he unexpectedly encountered Simon, who recognized as Crisostomo Ibarra in disguise. To protect Ibarra's secret, Simon attempted to kill Basilio but was unsuccessful. Instead, Simon tried to persuade Basilio to join his quest for revenge against the Spanish government. Basilio refused as he wanted to finish his studies. Ang kini si Basilio is currently nag-take na siya sa iyang medical degree kay giampon man ni siya ni Kapitan Tiago. Meanwhile, while the Governor-General was vacationing in Los Baños, Filipino students submitted a petition to establish a Spanish language academy. So, the proposal was rejected because the clergy would be in charge, preventing the students from having any control over the institution's operation. Simon and Basilio met again, and Simon once more tried to convince Basilio to join his planned rebellion and create chaos in the forced opening of the Santa Clara convent to abduct Maria Clara. However, this didn't happen because Maria Clara passed away that same evening. On the other hand, the students held a gathering at the Pansiteria Macanesta de Buen Gusto, expressing their disappointment over the failed establishment of the Spanish Language Academy. Speeches were given inside the Pansiteria where the students openly criticized the clergy. The friars eventually learned about this. The next day, posters containing criticisms and calls for rebellion were found on the university stores, and the students' organization members were blamed. The students were arrested, and Basilio was among those apprehended. This deeply affected his lover, Julie. So si Julie, it is the daughter of Cabesang Talis. Although hesitant, Julie eventually sought for help from Padre Camora to free Basilio. Hermana Bali also persuaded her, believing that only the priest could help secure Basilio's release. To exonerate the students, their relatives intervened for their release. Basilio, however, remained in jail as he had no intermediary. Padre Camora assaulted Julie. Traumatized by the incident, she jumped from the convent window, leading to her death. So, ang kini si Julie, no, she fight para ma-release si Basilio, pero, nagpatabang siya ni Padre Camora, pero ano siya, kanang like, sexual harassment. That's why, na-traumatize siya, and then, nag-suicide. Simon continued plotting his revenge against the government. To advance his plan, he partnered with Don Timoteo Pelaez, Juanito's father, and arranged Juanito's marriage to Paulita Gomez. So, the Governor General was invited to be the wedding godfather, and other high-ranking officials were also invited to the banquet. 2 months after his imprisonment, Basilio was released with Simon's help. Due to the tragic events in his life, including Julie's death, Basilio finally agreed to join Simon's rebellion. So, pagkahibaw ni Basilio sa reason nganong nagpakamatay si Julie, so murag grabe na ang iyang kasuko. That's why nisugot na pud siya sa kanang murag revenge nga plano ni Simon. That's why nagkauban na sila. Simon seized the opportunity to show Basilio the bomb he had made. It was a grenade-shaped lamp the size of a human head. He planned to present this extravagant lamp to newlyweds Juanito and Paulita. So, of course, ang mga bisita sa kasal ni Juanito o ni Paulita kay mga official nga mga high-ranking. So, kanang syempre mga mayayaman sila. So, murag ma-attract sila kung unsa ang murag plano nga iregalo ni Simon. The lamp would emit a bright light for 20 minutes before dimming. When the wick was raised to brighten it again, the grenade would explode, causing the destruction of pavilion and ensuring no guest would survive. The explosion also would serve as a signal for Simon to initiate the rebellion. On Juanito and Paulita's wedding day, at around 7 in the evening, Basilio paced outside the banquet venue. Simon also left the house anticipating the imminent explosion. As Basilio was about to leave, he spotted Isagani. So, ang si Isagani, it is the former lover of Juanita. Temporarily forgetting his life disappointment, Basilio revealed the planned explosion to Isagani and warned him to leave the area. As the lamp began to dim, the Governor-General ordered Padre Irin to raise the wick. However, Isagani snatched the lamp, ran to the terrace, and threw it into the water. That's why, ang katong plano nilang Basilio og ni Simon nga walay makasurvive ato pag mubuto to ang dynamite, pero ilang nasultian man ni Basilio sa Isagani nga mubuto to siya. That's why iyang gikuha o iyang gilabog. Kaya murag love pa dyan niya si Juanita o Paulita. Simon's planned rebellion was thwarted. He fled to the house of Padre Florentino, a Filipino priest. So katong time nga murag na kuan ang ilang plano, murag wala uyon ang ilang plano tungod sa kay murag gilabog na isa gani nya nahibaw-an na sa mga pari nga sila diaw as those pursuing Simon were closing in. He drank poison to avoid being captured alive. So, niatras si Simon and then, nagpakamatay siya. He drank poison. And it was then that he confessed his true identity to the priest. So, mo na to ang time nga nisulti si Simon ni Padre Florentino nga siya kay si Crisostomo Ibarra. He shared his return to the Philippines from Europe 13 years prior and his love affair with Maria Clara and his disguise as a jeweler to seek revenge against the government through a rebellion. After confessing, Simon passed away. The remaining jewels belonging to Simon were thrown into the sea by Padre Florentino. So that is the summary of El Filibusterismo. Thank you.